Hello, and welcome to the Tuesday afternoon development stream. Today might be a little bit shorter than the normal streams, mostly because there's a lot of stuff that I need to get done, but not a lot of it is exactly doable at this very moment. So yeah, today might end up just being a little bit shorter than the usual, because not quite a ton to do right now. But the main goals for today, the big thing I want to try to work on more is, hold on, is my, okay, yeah, my webcam was a little fogged over because it's kind of humid in here because there's a lot of rain. Um, anyways, oh, there's like a weird thing going on there. Okay, so I've got a system in place that I've got a system I'm trying to put into place to test out invincibility frames. And that's not really been going very well. So we're gonna try that again. Hopefully get that to work this time. We'll use this as a little trial map, I think. Yeah, so the main goal is gonna be to get that done, to get a basic functioning system in place to prevent the player from getting hit several times over when they should only be getting hit once. So we're gonna try to fix that. I have something else I could be doing, and that is working on some logo stuff because I've got a good idea of what I want the our game studio logo to look like, but it's not quite finalized, so I could go through and update that, and then spend some time getting the finalized version all finished. Okay, so that's not quite the enemy I want to grab here. I could just grab one from the base. Yeah, this will probably do the job. Okay, so I don't have anything on here, which is good, because I want to sort of test this out a little better. So let's see how I had it in, because I had a bit of this last time. Okay, so what should happen is that you'll hit an enemy, and then after defeating them, a switch will turn on that says that you are invincible. We'll have some text show up just to make sure that that is on, and it will control switch invincible on, so it'll turn on invincibility. And then it will start for 0 minutes 5 seconds, and it will loop until timer is 0 or less. And then if it gets to that point, then it'll stop the timer, and it will turn invincible off, and text will show up saying that it turns off. So I feel like that, just based on how it sounds, it seems like that should work. But an issue I was having is that it would soft lock the player every single time that invincibility frames would be triggered. So we'll have to see. So we can get rid of enemies hit. We don't really need that for this test case. Instead, what we're going to do is run a common event, and we'll run invincibility frames. Oh, and I need to set the starting position for player right there. Okay, so it's probably not going to work because this is the same thing I did last time, and that soft locked everything. So we're going to start by fighting this guy. We'll just hit him. And he dies instantly because he's got no health for the sake of testing. Invincible on? Okay, yeah, so here's the issue. For some reason, the timer doesn't properly run down, and my theory is that it's constantly running the loop over and over. And for some reason, that's causing it to not work. So let me say... So what if we have text show up that says looped to give us a bit of an indicator as to whether or not the looping is working or not? So we'll hit this guy, and then it'll take us out. Invincible on, looped, 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 looped. Okay, so for some reason it's running the loop, but the timer isn't counting down. So that's our issue. For some reason, the loop will not reset things properly. Oh, I just realized I forgot to turn my music on. Oops. Did feel a little oddly quiet, I admit. Okay, there we go. And let me turn on shuffle. Alright, now we're in business. Okay, so for some reason, it's looping, but it's not progressing while it's looping. Maybe there's another type of loop that I don't know about? No? Yeah, so for some reason, it looping prevents anything from being able to progress. Huh. Okay, so I don't see a way to do what I'm wanting this to do. What if I make it, like, wait for, like, a second? Oh, wait, I'm stupid. I genuinely completely overlooked the simplest thing I've ever. What if I just set it to wait 2 seconds, and then invincible off? Now, I guess there is the potential that this will make everything wait, which, that'll be a problem, but... So, invincible on. Control switch, invincible is on, and then invincible off. And it will turn invincibility off. If it's that simple, then that'll be great. And, well, that'll be great on the perspective of having things done, but not great for content, because I've been live for 10 minutes and I've already sort of fixed my issue. So, we're gonna fight this guy. We hit him, he'll die instantly. And invincible's on. Okay, yeah, so that was the thing I was worried about. So when I use the wait command, what that does is it forces the entire game to just sort of freeze in its tracks. So it unfortunately doesn't work quite as easily as that. Okay, so what we need to do is have some system in place that will not freeze the game, that will let you still move, but will continually be checking to see if you're invincible or not. Which feels like it should be a pretty simple concept to implement, but clearly not, because it's given us a bit of a problem here. Okay, so the initial idea was to run a loop, and the loop would constantly check to see if the invincibility frame timer had run out. And then, once the timer had run out, then it would turn invincibility off. But that doesn't work because for some reason it freezes the entire game. Yeah, this is really tricky. It feels like there should be a bit of an easier way to do this. There probably is, actually. So I'm gonna check RPG Maker MV invincibility frames. Shoot, these are all talking about these are talking about battle stuff instead of what I need, which is on-field invincibility. It's that way you don't immediately run into another enemy. Huh. Yeah, so what I need is some way to force this event to wait without freezing the entire game. Which feels like it should be really easy to do, right? Like, this shouldn't be as difficult as it is to figure out. Okay. Yeah, so timers don't work. At least not the way that I would like it to. Loops don't work the way I would like it to. And event processing doesn't quite work the way I'd like it to. Okay, maybe there's something I'm just not keeping in mind with how this stuff works. Trigger, none, auto run, parallel. What if I make it parallel? Okay, let's try that, maybe? Because here's the thing about RPG Maker. There's two things you can set an event to. It's auto run or parallel process. Auto run will make that thing automatically run, and it'll stop everything else. So only the auto run will be in place. So this is good for like managing a cutscene or like forcing an event or an encounter that really needs to happen. That's what you want to use an auto run for. And then there's parallel processing, which means that it'll constantly be running, but it won't overtake anything else. So parallel process, it runs parallel to everything else. So what we want it to do is run parallel. We don't want it to overtake everything. So we'll see if that fixes it. Maybe? Brian? Invincible on? Okay, so that didn't work at all. That just stood me in place. Okay, what if... Alright, what if we make it run entirely within this? It's gonna be a bit of a pain, but it might work. So we'll turn on a... okay, so we'll control switch invincible. And we'll say invincibility on. Then it will wait for, let's say 300 frames, so just a couple seconds. And then it will control switches, invincibility off, and we'll have some text that says invincibility off. Okay, perfect. That should work pretty well, I imagine. Maybe. So here's the two problems we could have with this. Well, there's really only one problem. There's an annoyance and a problem. An annoyance is that we'll have to update every single enemy in the game to have this behavior, which is going to be kind of tedious, but manageable. Here's the other problem. For some reason, when you make something wait, it just freezes everything, and I cannot figure out why. I feel like this shouldn't really be near as complicated as it is, but it just is. Yeah, because in simplest terms, all we really want to do is make the player invincible, so flip a switch that says, hey, the player is currently invincible, wait like 4 seconds, and then turn invincibility back off. That's all we're trying to do. But for some reason, any waiting method I have to count down that time just freezes everything over, and I cannot figure it out. Okay, so clearly this approach is not working the way I'd hoped. So let's go back to the common event method. So we'll run the invincibility frames common event. Common event. And we'll go over here. So parallel process, clearly that didn't work. So maybe I could experiment with loops a little bit more. See if there's something there. I don't know. So, okay, let's just do some experimenting with loops to make sure I have a good grip on how those work. So we'll have a text that says looped. So, one loop, every time this plays, it'll have loop once. And we'll break loop there to see if it properly breaks the loop. Loop braked. Braked? Broken. Okay, so just something really simple, and to make this a little easier, actually, I can go ahead and set up a common event an event right here that when you interact with it, it will run invincibility frames. So make that same as players, and we'll give it, sure, let's make an exclamation point for ease of use, I suppose. So, we should be able to interact with that little exclamation point anytime we want, and get a good representation of if invincibility frames are active or not. Okay, so it loops and then it breaks the loop. So loop breaking clearly functions. Now what we need to do is figure out how to allow the loop to increment and check stuff without freezing everything else that's going on around it. So we'll keep the loops text for the sake of functionality. And then, Okay, yeah, so I can't do a conditional on a loop, so I can't do a loop if. But what I can do is put a conditional branch in here, so it'll continue to loop until something else happens. Let's say it'll loop until multi-use switch is on. And then it will break the loop, and we'll have text saying, loop broken. So, if my understanding of RPG Maker is correct, then this will not work. This will just freeze the entire game until multi-use switch is active. Which is stupid and dumb. So, looped, 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 looped. Yeah, it's not even letting me move. It should still let me move in between the loops. Let's just try getting rid of the text box just to make sure, but I'm assuming this will just freeze everything. Yep, the game's I just can't move. I just cannot. Okay, so clearly there's something fundamental to how loops work that make this kind of difficult to function. So if we do a conditional inside of a loop, it's just not gonna cut it. Yeah, is there any way to count down while letting the player still move? Because that's what I really need. Okay, so I've got loops and I got conditionals, which are kind of all I have. What if I just run an empty loop? Does that just freeze the entire game if I just run an empty loop? It does. If you just run any loop, the whole game just stops. That's stupid. Is there any way I can make this work better? Like, not stupid? Okay. Different idea. We'll set it to parallel and invincible. And we'll run this loop. And then instead of turning on common event, it will control switch invincible. So, minor distinction to make. But what this should do is that if the invincibility switch is on, then it'll run a parallel process version of the loop, which I think what's happening right now is that the loop is set to being auto-run, so if it's an auto-run, it'll automatically run over everything, like it'll take priority. But if I do it via a switch instead of a common event, for some reason, I think it'll be parallel, which means it won't freeze everything else. If that makes any sense, this is nonsensical. It's working! It's working! This is actually perfect. Okay, so it's running a loop, an empty loop, that isn't breaking the entire game. This is excellent. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to control a timer, which is right here. So we're gonna control timer. We'll give 5 seconds, and then we'll do a conditional. So if the timer is less than or equal to 0. And if it is, then we'll say invincible off. And for the sake of posterity, we'll have invincible on. Okay, so yeah, this should work, I think. Yeah, I mean, that took a little finagling, but we might be in business. Please? It works! It actually works! Oh, okay, well, for some reason it looks like it turns off prematurely, and now I can't reactivate it. So clearly something's still going wrong here. Oh, let me stop the timer, because it's technically still running even though it's off, so. That could be a bit of a bug happening there. Okay, yeah, so for some reason there's still a bug here. It's not letting me activate invincibility twice. So this just turns invincible on. Oh, whoops. I accidentally have it so that it instead of turning invincibility off, it just turns it on again, even though it was still on. So might be. So invincible on. Timer runs down. It clearly isn't 100% accurate. Not the biggest issue, I guess. Invincible off. Invincible on. We got it. We fixed it. Let's go. Don't need this guy anymore. And let's test it on this guy. So we're going to add a conditional where all this will run only if invincibility is off. So let's grab a conditional branch, invincible. So if invincible is off, then run all the battle activation stuff. Oh, and this will, instead of running a common event, it will control switch invincible on. Okay, that could do it. Let's see. Okay, so it just breaks the entire, it just breaks everything. Okay. So that clearly doesn't quite work, because it just freezes. What if I throw an else branch in there? And just make it empty? Because that lets the game know that there is something else that could be running. Dang it! No, that didn't do it. What if I throw an exit event processing in there? So what that should do is it should stop the event from running. So it should kill everything. Well, it should kill everything as in it should stop, you know, this from happening, but clearly it still bricks everything for some stinking reason. Okay, so clearly we've got something going on, where it still kind of bricks itself upon collision. Maybe there's a better way to do this? I don't think switches have an immediate effect. By that I mean... Here, I'll show you what I mean with that. So, I could have a separate event running inside of each enemy, where it will be constantly checking for invincibility, or it will only show up if it's invincible. That might work, theoretically. Let's use this big dwarb. So, if invincible is on, he'll show up. Otherwise, he won't. Otherwise, he won't be there. Okay, and then once the timer runs out, he will disappear. Okay, so what I could do is make a version of this enemy that has 0 collision. So we'll copy this, paste this. We'll have to... we're gonna have to grab all this and move it outside of the loop here. There we go. So if you're not invincible, then it'll be normal. But if you have invincibility on, then it'll continue to exist as normal, but it will not be able to collide with you. But I gotta shift everything down. So, this does make things a little bit more complicated in terms of enemy collision, but it should give the player proper invincibility. So invincibility's on. Hey, look at that! It actually works. It functions as intended. I think we might have done it. So there's just one more thing I need to check with this. And I'm gonna set a slightly more complicated move route and turn the speed down for the sake of being able to test this out. So this guy's gonna go up, up, right, right, down, down, left, left. So up, down, down, wait. Up, up, right, right, down, down, left, left. So we should be going in a bit of a square shape. And here's my concern, because each of these will have a different move route. And, well, as long as it's the same move route, it shouldn't be an issue. But here's... Let me walk you through this circumstance that I could foresee happening. So let's say that you're fighting this guy. You have invincibility turned on. and let's say this guy's doing his move route, and maybe he stops right here, and then it switches to the other move route because it's a different event. So what is supposed to be a move route of going like this, you know, going in a little square like that, if he gets stopped here, he changes to the other move route and it resets, and then he's doing an entirely different space. That's what I'm concerned could happen. So let's see if it does that. I really hope it doesn't. So let's say if he goes right up there. Okay, yeah, so that was exactly what I was worried about happening. Dang it, man. Huh. Okay, well that didn't work in the slightest. So... Shoot, man. I was so close, I almost had it. I could taste it, I could feel victory within my hands, but then it slipped away from me at the last second. Ah. I don't think I've been drinking enough water lately. I can always stand to drink more water. Okay, so... I'm out of ideas. I think I've exhausted everything that I had in my brain lined up to today's stream. But I am now thoroughly confused. I'm confounded, I'm confused, quite possibly even bamboozled or baffled. Okay, this is not going great. Because I really don't want to leave this issue in the game, because if I don't get this working, then you could really easily get comboed by enemies, which would just be super annoying and feel really unfair. And I want to make this game as good as I can, you know, gotta, even if it's something that's not really a major issue and it's more so a minor annoyance, I still feel like I should do everything I can to sort that out, you know, especially since I'm gonna be doing a Kickstarter. If I'm gonna be asking for people's money, I gotta prove that I'm not gonna let these little issues stand, you know? Anyway, so that being said, it still does not change that I have no idea how to fix this. Maybe there's a way to just, like, stop enemies momentarily? So, like, if invincibility's on, they just don't move? That could work. So it doesn't matter if you run into them. They just won't move for the time being. I could see that working. Maybe. Okay, let's try something like this. So we'll do a conditional branch. And we'll say... Is there a way to stop a move route of something? So if we say set movement route of this event, can I just, like, pause? I can. That is an option. Okay, So maybe if I run a conditional that says, if invincible is on, just don't do anything. Otherwise, move. That's worth trying, at least. Better idea than anything else I got right now, so... Okay, so... If invincible is on, then... Wait for... just say a second. There we go. And then everything else. Please work, please work. Okay, so it just bricked the entire game again. Awesome. You know what? Holy cow, I've been doing this for 30 minutes, and I still got nothing. I haven't gotten a single step closer to getting this working, and it's been 30 minutes. Where did the time go? Oh boy, alright. New plan. I'm gonna step away from this again, because it really, hurts my head. And we're gonna do something fun instead. I'm gonna work on the logo for the game studio. I'm just getting my program queued up, which is why you're not seeing anything right now. I'll get that back in just One moment. And... wait, hold on, I got one more. Almost got it, almost got it. Okay, so... this is the current logo for our game studio, which we are going by the name of Drip Feed Games. I think it's a fun name. It's kind of catchy, rolls off the tongue. Drip Feed Games, you know, feels easy to say. And this was my first revision of the logo. Well, first prototype. I had a couple of other versions, and this is the one that I ended up settling on because I really like the color, I like the pattern. I think it looks quite nice. So, what I need to do is, well, a couple things. I gotta do some cleanup on like rough edges like this. You can see that a lot of the shapes are pretty jagged. So, you know, some work, some refinement to do on that front. A lot of which we can just fix by using a sharper tool like this brush. Because I was using this brush, which is kind of jagged compared to this one, which is a lot smoother. So I did a little bit of work revising this already, and it looked a little something like this. It's not quite finished. There's a lot of other tweaks and stuff I want to make. Like the edges are still, for some reason, still not that sharp, even though I intentionally used a much sharper tool. But I like using some slight diagonals to make it feel a little bit more dynamic. But I think I'm going to cut back on the diagonals a little bit, just to keep it feeling kind of nice and energetic, but not what's the term? What am I looking for? Not a little too off-kilter. It should still feel clean, should still feel professional, but in a slightly more reasonable capacity, I suppose. So, I'm going to start by just doing some basic shape laying, which actually we can do with this guy, which might actually be the best bet for doing this. I'll jut that up a little further, actually. So we do a little something like this, then this, and then it goes down like that. So it's pretty slight, and what we can do is then fill that in completely, so you get these really nice, like, sharp edges. And then we're going to do this bit, which we can do like this, so it sort of follows it down a little. Yeah, so it sort of follows the same angle of the slope. And then for a little extra dynamism, it can stick out to the side a little, and then go down like that. Then it connects down a little something like that. Bam. And we fill that in. And yeah, I think I want this gap to be a little bit larger. So what we're gonna do is maybe they pass it for that a little more. Yeah, I definitely want a larger gap there. So we're gonna grab our selection tool here. Oop, that was a bad select. Let me retry that. So we're gonna grab a little bit of this section, and we move it up just a little bit. Yep, that's better. That's much better, I think. Yeah, I like that little gap a lot more. Okay, so this shape is a little bit tricky to recreate. So I'm just gonna like do one of these and just kind of paint bucket that all in. Oop, oop, there we go. Get my programs all fuddled. And you know what? We're gonna go ahead and grab our erase tool and cut a line out right about here so it matches the angle. There we go. Alright, that's not bad. Okay, well it wasn't, but... Okay, well this shape's clearly a little messy. I might just have to manually redraw that. But my drawing tablet's been on the fritz, so maybe I'll do that a little later. But for now, we can go ahead and just clean this edge. Yeah, there we go. Much nicer. Okay, so we got that in place. Let's lower the opacity once again. And we can take a bit of a diagonal slice out of this edge. Then we grab our fancy schmancy, I think it's called magnetic lasso. Bezier curve selection tool. Alright, well ignore me, I guess. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Then we do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and there we go. And then paint bucket that in. Oh, I'm using my eraser. Oops. I was trying to paint bucket something with the eraser paint bucket, which, you know, the paint bucket does a full fill, and then it erases it with the eraser option selected. Makes sense. Okay, I can't help but feel like something's still not quite right here. But I think I like the shape a little more. Okay, we can worry about it a little more later. It's not the not a super urgent priority at the moment. So this is the freehand selection. So this is the magnetic glass. Okay. What is this one? This is magnetic. Oh no, this is the magnetic glass. Okay. Now I get it. I don't really know the differences between this and the other one. Kind of seem like the same thing. I should really figure out how to use these more. Yeah, because this is like how busy your curves work. Like if you hold it, you can do a curve like that. I've never been very good at using these. Like, because I could totally use that to create this curve, but I'm... for some reason, I'm really bad at that. What if I do this? So I just, you know, line it up. Yeah, well, I can't see it now, so this doesn't... This is Let's Game Development Stream more. Seth tries to figure out how to use selection tools in Krita. I think I use this. Yeah, there's like a little tool you can use to make curves. That's pretty handy. I might use that. Freehand path tool, just... Yeah, okay. So what this does is it'll just like smooth out a line that you made. So what I'm gonna do is just sort of carefully, loosely draw out a shape for the water drop. Yeah, it looks fine. See, it smooths it. And I'm gonna turn that off just to get a little bit of that. There we go. And then we'll paint bucket this in. So it has this little, like, it has a sense that it's, like, still kind of connected and it's about to drop off. I think that's better? I can't tell. Feels pretty samey to me right now. Okay, so now we gotta redo these shapes. Okay, I'm just thinking about how I want to do this. I might use the freehand tool again. Because this shape's a little bit tricky to get down quite right. In fact, I might even just pull in a reference image. Yeah, I might just like find an image of a faucet and sort of... well, okay, these are all faucets that are like current. I want an old-timey faucet. Retro sink faucet. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Is there a good side angle? Hold on, I got a side profile. I specifically need like a profile shot of an old-timey retro friggin' sink faucet. Surprisingly, it's not that easy to find these. Okay, well, I'm not really finding much in terms of good references, so I might just use this again. Okay. So I'm gonna do this on a separate layer so I have a little bit more freedom to work with. But I'll grab my freehand line, and then... Did I just do that perfectly straight? It's crazy. Then I'll do that. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so that did not work at all. Okay, new idea. We're gonna make a square. And we're gonna fill it. And it's gonna go like right here. Right here. And we'll do this so we can see some overlap. Well, hey, Oscar. What is What does Happy Chungus Day mean? what, what is Chungus Day? I'm not familiar with the concept of Chungus Day. Alright, so we're gonna grab our erase, and I'm just gonna try to freehand a good cut here. That didn't work at all. What if I just keep redrawing it? Maybe I'll just get it eventually if I keep doing this. Okay, this is not... no, this is not working. I could use a circle selection and try to cut out a little piece like this. But I kind of want it to match the curve of this section. Today's the day we praise our meme savior, Big Chungus. Is he the savior? I mean, he's not the most... He's not the most, He's not the most, currently relevant of all memes, you know? There's many out there that have surpassed him in terms of pure relevancy. Oh, wait, I need to do this a little different. So I gotta go like this, and then I just have to match the curve. There we go. Okay, that actually works pretty well. And now it's cut out in a way that matches the curve of the sink. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, that's a much nicer looking curve, I think. That matches the that matches it a lot closer. Just trying to get it to about the center. Yeah, okay, that looks correct enough. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is the other side. So, we're gonna lower the opacities again, grab this, and flip it. Then what we do is, once again, grab our curve tool, and drag it to match. Then we delete, bring everything's opacities back up, and there you go. Is that quite? That's not. It doesn't look quite right. Let me flip it. I think I'm just over worrying. Hey, what are we doing today? Yes, I'm taking part of the credit because I'm watching you do the work. Well, you can take credit as moral support. Yeah, so first thing I'm doing right now is making a logo, well, refining a logo, because we had this one. Well, this is a revised version already, but I'm not super satisfied with it. I had this logo, and I'm refining the shape a little bit right now. I'm going to keep the color scheme, but I'm making some tweaks, making it a little more angular, making the shapes look a little nicer, making it cleaner. Yeah, so that's the first thing. That's the first goal of the day. Then, what's next? I spent some time trying to figure out how to get the invincibility frame thing working from last time. I don't want to do that anymore. It hurts my head. It's too hard. So right now, logo stuff. Doing a little showing off my graphic design prowess, because this is what I'm getting a degree for. Fun fact. I'm studying visual communication, graphic design major. Okay, so right now what we're gonna do is use this tool to try to capture how this curve should look. Uh-oh, I'm too zoomed in. This might be a pain, because this is a handy tool for like trying to accurately like depict the shape of a curve when it's kind of on small scale, but when it's on like a larger scale like this, it's really hard to like fine tune it to really fit. Like I don't even think it's gonna fine tune itself. Yeah, like that's just not gonna fit. Is there a tool that I'm not thinking of that'll make it a lot easier? See, what is this? The dynamic brush? I don't really know what this does. multi-brush. Because it's really important that I make this look clean, you know? Okay, well, this is another curve tool. I'm a little confused on how that one works. What if I do something like this? And then this? Nope, that didn't work at all. Okay. Dude, this is just confusing. Reference images tool? They have one of those? I don't know what it does. Doesn't seem like it does anything. Okay, well, hey, thanks. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to do the one thing that I did not want to have to do. We're gonna have to go in. We're gonna just have to be precise. I'm gonna have to use my careful selection, and it's probably gonna take a hot second because just let these things go. What's a good tool for trying to get a good edit shapes? Could I just like paste in like a nice curve? Is that possible? Please? That'd be awesome. Nah, I'm not seeing it. Okay, so what tool is gonna be best for this job? Maybe the let's try a little bit with the magnet. No, that's not gonna work. I feel like I should know how to best create just like a simple arch. What if I just like, because here's the issue right now. You can see that this bit is really kind of jagged to the point where you can not necessarily see it from like this distance, but you look kind of close and you can see that it's not a very clean edge, and that simply shall not stand. So I can do this. So let's say there's an area that needs some refinement. I can go in with like my little pixel brush and manually fix those areas up so they look a little smoother. I mean, it doesn't really look that smooth, but same concept. But I want to get this whole curve to look like a smooth, you know, curve. I'm perplexed. I'm confused. Then my brush. I still don't know what this dynamic brush does. It doesn't seem very helpful. Okay, well, we'll leave this bit for a second later, because that's a little boring. Alright, so, next thing I need to do is get these shapes up here looking nice. Okay, so I can do sort of the same idea I did here, and just grab a circle. Yeah, just make a circle. Oops, put that in the wrong layer. My bad. There we go. More accurate to the shape we're going for. Let me fill that in. We got ourselves a nice, sharp-ish circle. Actually, better idea. Let's use my selection tool. Then I fill that in. Boom! Now it's even smoother. Excellent. And now we shift this down to sort of match the curve. Why is it... It's being a little jank with the selection, right? It's sort of auto-snapping where I don't want it to be. Come on, stop being... Whoa, whoa! Come on, come on. Yeah, I just need to shift this over a little bit. Just like a little bit. Okay. So now here's what we do. We grab... we're going to want to cut out of this shape. So, grab our curve tool, do a little something like this, and then do that. Delete that portion. Bring the opacity back up, and we pull this up a little bit. So now the curve matches it. It's got the same curve. And it matches this curve as well, so we get a little bit of a nicer, more uniform gap that I think just generally looks a little bit nicer. Ooh, I just thought of an idea. I'll save that a little later. I'll get the basic shapes down first before I try to do anything too wacky or zany. So now we gotta get this little handle bit over here, and we'll just do something like that. Paste it in, and we can do the same thing we just did. By colliding these two. Something like that. Grab the curve tool, grab one end, get the other end, and adjust to match. Boom. Then we pull back a little bit. Ooh, what is this bit? I don't know what's going on there. Did I, like, fuse some things together somehow? Okay, let's try that again. Just do this. This. Then match the curve. Delete. Oop, wrong one. Okay, okay, that's weird. Something went wrong the first time, but I guess we're all in the clear now. Alright, sweet. So now what we're gonna do is duplicate, grab that, and mirror it horizontally. Is that the same? I don't know if I can't tell if that's like it looks pretty close to being the same distance, right? But it's not. I don't know if it quite is. Okay. So here's one thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a little line. Well, first I'm gonna set the opacity of all this stuff a little lower. And I'm gonna put a line here. Just do like just like a thin line. So we know that the distance between these two should be approximately this long. Okay, maybe made this really too thin, so now I can only adjust it on a really tiny micro level, which might... Okay. Can I not just, like, move this a little easier, please? There we go, okay. So the distance should be a little bit further. So we'll grab this, adjust by pixels. There we go. Now it is exactly, perfectly the same distance apart. Math. It's not math, that's not really math, it's just, it's something. Okay, so we're gonna make a group layer. We're gonna drag all this stuff into it. And we'll call this faucet. So now we can adjust this whole section as need be. And what I'm gonna do is, I wanted to try this. So, like, if we put it on its side, you know? See if that looks, I mean, it's not necessarily bad. But I don't know if I like it. You know what? I do think I actually like that more. I think that's better. I think it makes it feel a little bit more dynamic rather than it just being straight up and down. I'm gonna have to resize a little bit. Let's make it 20. Let's make it 2200. So I'll add an extra 200 pixels to the dimensions. There we go. Okay, see, that works perfectly. Yeah, I feel like I like that shape a little bit more. Is there anything else that I feel like I would want to change? Maybe these gaps aren't quite consistent? You know, the rotation certainly isn't. But, like, the distance between some of these gaps is not quite correct. If I shift this down just a little. Yeah, okay. It's close enough for now. It's approximate. So now we gotta get the text in. And I'll do that with, well, what else but a handy-dandy little tool. We'll go ahead and make another layer for text. And I'll grab the text tool. I'll type out the word drip. I believe the font I used was Bond Shrift Semi-Bold. I think so. So it just kind of looks nice and clean. Make it like 36. And we can just sort of manually scale it up from here. Nice thing about fonts is that since they're sort of based off of a kind of an absolute size, they're what's known as vector graphics. You can scale them up like this without sacrificing quality at all. So we've got that. Actually, we don't even need this. Well, I got another idea in mind for how that's gonna work. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get the other bits of text lined up. And we can do the same thing I did below, just to make sure that everything is perfectly aligned. Like use a small like measurement, like make a custom graphic, and then use that to measure the gaps in between, just to make sure it's all even Stevens. Oop, turn off my caps lock. Games. We drag it on down. Right about there. Looks like the spacing's a little weird here. Oh, right, because we had, I had shifted the G over so that everything aligned on this side. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do a little tests just to make sure that everything is all aligned. So first thing I'm going to do is use my pixel brush, and I'm just going to draw a straight line, yeah, from about this point all the way down. So then we can, yeah, you can see there that it's not perfectly aligned. So we can go in and make the necessary adjustments to make sure that it is perfectly, cleanly, evenly lined up. Like this one, not quite, but there it is, now it's perfect. And yeah, it's all nice and lined up, although... Actually, wait, no. Feed should go over a little. No, 1 pixel. Nobody's gonna notice this, like, tiny 1 pixel difference. But I want it to look as good as it can, because I sort of have this belief with a lot of this you know, with graphic design stuff, that minor differences may not be, like, you might not be able to point to what's wrong, but I think your brain can pick up on what's wrong, and then it'll, like, sort of covertly alert you that something is not quite correct here. Okay, so we're gonna use the same sort of trick I just did there to make a straight up and down line to measure the distance between the letters, and just to make sure that it's actually correct, we'll go with these 2 straight letters here. We don't have to worry about the weirdness of the G. And am I shifting everything? No, I'm just shifting this. For some reason it looks like everything else is moving around with it too. Oh, why is it all pixely now? What happened? Huh? What? Okay. This thing is freaking out on me. Okay, so what we gotta do is shift this down by a couple pixels. Okay, it looks zero different, like you cannot tell that it's different, but now it is perfectly, evenly aligned. So, that's pretty sweet. I think I like this one more. Yeah, it's a pretty minor difference. It's got a couple, it's pretty minor differences, all in the grand scheme of things. And I think I still want to do something a little different with the handle. But comparing it to the original, which just feels a little bit more static in comparison, I just think this is the other one's a bit stronger compositionally. We're gonna do the color palette from this one on this one, on the revised one. It's gonna have that cool like wavy color palette because I really like how that color palette looks. So we're definitely gonna maintain that for sure. So, we've got pretty much everything in place. That. And I'm gonna go ahead and save this as feed rev2. So now it's the second revision. And save. Personally, I like it. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, no, I like it too. I'm a graphic designer, And I guess the way I do it, I really want to make sure that every little... I want to make it like a lot of small changes to really make it feel stronger and stronger and stronger. Like this bit, I think it still works, but I feel like it could do a little... It could do like a little something more. I don't know what, so maybe I'll hold off on that. But we'll see, we'll see. So the next thing I have to do is smoothen out this curve. This is the part where I'm not sure how I want to do this, because this could be really tricky. I've got, like, tools for this sorts of thing. Like, I got this pen tool, which is definitely not, you know, gonna work, but it's cool. It looks cool. Oh, okay. No, wait. Genius idea. Genius concept. So, I'm gonna get rid of everything. Except this bit. This is all we're gonna want to recreate. Oh! I feel like I should have said this. Thank you guys for showing up. Warren0501, Mr. So Far Gone, aka Oscar, and Psycho2004. I feel like I should probably greet people in chat by name. It seems like a thing I should probably do. Oops. Okay, so what we're gonna do is trying to create a circle that matches the curvature. And an easy way to do that, I think, is to sort of line things up like this. So, yeah, we know that this corner is where we need to start our selection. Come on. There we go, that's pretty close. It's not 100%, but it'll do. It'll get the job done. And then we can get rid of our guidelines here, because we don't need that anymore. And we will paint bucket it in. So now we've got this nice sort of solid shape. And then what we're gonna do is copy this one over, and shrink it down a little, and sort of finagle it until it matches the inside curve. Wait, no, I'm dumb. Better idea. Easier concept. Simpler idea. Grab one of these. Nope. Grab one of these. And then we do the whole circle selection tool again. Come on, go over to the side. Oh, go over. There we go. And then we delete all of this portion. That looks pretty even. That looks pretty dang even. Honestly, that's not bad. That is clean. And then the rest of it's easy going. So all we got to do is a little bit that action. Can clean that bit out. Then we go over here, and we cut that out like so. And then we just well, now it kind of looks like a Pokeball. And we grab all this, and we just boom, it's all gone. And now we've got this new one. This is the new one. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. Yeah, that's the right one. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, boop, bam, bam, bam. Yeah, look at that. It's clean, it's sharp. I feel like that was a creative solution to that little issue. I feel good about that. Let me see if there's anything else I want to tweak position-wise, because I feel like there's a couple of, like, pretty minor positioning changes. Because one important, like, key rule of graphic design is not just how you use space, like how you fill space, like positive space, but also negative space. So, like, having some emptiness here, or some emptiness around here, something around, you know, keep balancing out how much space you do and do not use. Something I'm not necessarily the best at sometimes, but... Is that nicer? Yeah, that's better. I like that more. Okay. Sweet. Okay, another pretty minor revision. I think I'm gonna scoot this a little bit closer. Just so it matches the rest of the spacing a little better. Yeah, that looks a little bit more even. Yeah, okay, that'll do. That'll do. Okay, so we're gonna save this again. Then what I'm gonna do is save it as a PNG file, so we can maintain the transparency in the background. And then what I'm gonna do is open the PNG file. So what that does is it sort of merges it all together, and then I'll still have the, oh, that's the older, weirder one. I still got the older version that I can do some fine-tuning and stuff with if I need to. So here's my first concept for another thing I'm thinking about doing. Making the text a little bit more dynamic, so it's a very, very slight change, right? Like, you're probably not gonna immediately notice that the text is, like, a little angled. But it might just help slightly to the sort of subconscious feeling of, oh, this has got some dynamicness to it. Without outright going too far to the point of it being kind of... Without sacrificing readability. Because, you know, graphic design, that's one of the key core tenets, is that you gotta make sure that your stuff is clean, is readable. And that's, like, kind of your top priority. I mean, obviously it has to look good. And that's sort of the two key things you gotta balance. It's gotta look nice, it's gotta be legible. Easily legible from a distance. It's gotta be recognizable. We want people to look at this logo and think, oh, that's the Drip Feed Games logo. I know those guys. Those guys are cool. You know, people dog on, like, those oversimplified logos and stuff. You know, like the Pringles logo. People always criticize that one. And while there's, like, some subjectivity of, like, oh, I don't like the simplified version of it, it's certainly readable, and it certainly still shows it certainly still reminds you of the brand. Which is something we gotta hone in here with these, with our cool logo. Honestly, I find that a lot of those, like, simplified logos I don't really mind all too much. Like, they're clean, they're readable, a lot of them look pretty nice. A lot of them don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all of them are unjustly scrutinized. Like, here's my least favorite example. So this is the old Bandai Namco logo. Look at that. Clean, precise. Look at the new Bandai Namco logo. This is just lame. I mean, it's still clean, but, like, this doesn't have anywhere near the personality or the creativity. Like, this is just boring. It's just boring in comparison. Alright, well, enough of my graphic design student ranting. Is that better? I don't know if that's better. I mean, I don't think it's bad, but I don't know if it's good. I'll call it Drip Feed Tilt. So I'll save that one for separate use. And I'm gonna go ahead and open back up the untilted, so we can just sort of compare. What are you guys thinking in chat? You like the let's get a direct comparison. You like tilt, no tilt, tilt, no tilt. Any thoughts on that? I think I like it when it's just a little bit more straight up and down. So I think that if I want to make it if I want to make the text kind of wavy, kind of tilty, kind of wacky, you know, I should probably double down on it. And just doing a slight tilt kind of feels weird. So I think I'll stick to the straight up and down text. So here's what we've got to do now. Oh, this is going to be a major pain to fully select all the text. Yeah, this is going to take a hot minute. Oh, no. Did I cancel? I selected everything. Okay. Different idea. Oh no, okay. So what I was thinking I could do is there's like a little tool you can use called Extrude in Adobe products. So you can make a selection and then expand the selection on all sides by 1 pixel. And that would be really helpful here, because when I select this, it looks like it selects the whole thing. But you can see that there's this little edge of pixels that are not fully, like, selected. Wait, what are these pixels doing? I gotta erase these little rogue pixels down here. Wait, what? It's not erased? Oh, I don't know what's selected. Yeah, so you can see there's this I think it's called dithering, this like dithered edge, and that's just not gonna look all too great. Because if you here, I guess I'll give you a little example so you can sort of visually see what I'm talking about. Let's say we want to fill this in with blue, and from here it looks fine, but if you get close, you can see that there's this still sort of black edge. You can try to fix that by doing another paint bucket, but it doesn't fully work, and paint bucket's kind of weird and it can get out of control and do everything. So we're going to want to be a little careful with how we handle this. But first I'm going to grab this and just sort of smooth over this little rough edge here. Oop. Just fill it in a little bit. Add a little detail there. There we go. Now you can't even tell there's a difference. Oh wait, no, I've got a perfect idea, perfect solution. This isn't even a problem anymore. So, I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna use this selection tool to select each individual element of the piece. So we'll get all the letters included. Yeah. So now we've got all of this, and I'm gonna have to go back and open up this version of the logo with the colors, and I'm going to use my watercolor like eyedropper tool to snag a bunch of the text. Then what I'll do is make my brush nice and large so I can do something like that to fill in the color of the space. And I think I'll use the oops. I think I'll use this tool. This is the one that should automatically smooth curves. Dynamic brush, okay. No, that's not it. Multi-brush? Oh, that's right, not the multi-brush. Multi-brush is wacky. Okay, that's actually what we're looking for. Sweet. So, I think I want the curve to sort of intersect through all of these elements. So it should do a little something like this, so it cuts through, goes down, and then up and around. Yeah, okay. I think that works. Oh, I should start from the bottom to the top. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just ignore all this and fill it all in with this lighter shade, and then we'll go down and work our way through it from there. That'll just make a little more sense. So what we're gonna do here is it's going to cut in about halfway across that. Yeah, okay. That's not bad, I don't... I might make another revision to this, actually. It's, maybe if we make this swoosh a little bit more diagonal. So... yeah, a little something like that. Okay, I think that works. And then we're gonna grab the bit of a darker blue here. And it will intersect here, cut down through here, up, down, around, and then like that. Okay, so I think I want to do this instead, because I really want to show a lot of the blue here still, like the lighter blue, but I want to make it look. Okay, there we go. That's perfect. And then we're gonna grab this darker shade here, and I'm going to. Okay, so we're gonna do this bit here. So once again, remember the rule of intersecting here, so it should cut through about half of that, and then we'll just fill in the entire bottom of it. That is it's not bad. I like that. That is really pleasing to the eye. I'm actually super happy with how this turned out. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised. This is pretty good. This is good. This is good. I'm really proud of this. I'm quite happy. So let's try a couple backgrounds, because this, it's never going to be on like just a transparent thing. Okay, pretty readable there. Pretty readable there. I mean, it's pretty readable. Like even at a small size, I think it's pretty clean, pretty distinct. Let's try like a bit of a darker color. Oh, why is it so low res all of a sudden? Okay, it still, yeah, no, it still reads on a darker background. It just looks like on a dark gray. Yeah, okay, so on a dark gray specifically, the blue bits are not that legible. So we just should keep in mind to not really use this kind of gray in any of our color palettes. Okay, so let's, I'm gonna go through and try to find some, like, good matching colors. Maybe start with some pinks. Because here's another rule of, like, graphic design stuff. You generally want your colors to nicely contrast. So let's try some oranges and stuff. In a way that's also, visually appealing. So let's say, this is blue, and the contrast color for that is orange. So something like an orange that's a little bit more on the desaturated side, not quite to the point where it's tan, but a little bit more of a lighter orange. Yeah, not to the point where it's brown either. Not to the point where it's just a skin tone. Because like one of the rules is that if you have like a high saturation color, you want to contrast it with a color that's not only its opposite but also low saturation. So like here's an example of that. So here's like a very saturated bright blue. And generally you don't even really want to use colors that are this saturated most of the time, but good for our demonstration. Although I'm realizing it looks a little bit it doesn't look as saturated on my streaming side, so maybe the demonstration doesn't work quite as well. But we'll go to orange. And if you just pick another super bright orange, it just kind of clashes. But if you grab a bit of a more desaturated orange, then it just tends to work out a little bit better. You still get that contrast in a way that feels a little bit less abrasive. Anyways, this is pretty good. I feel kind of content with this for now. I guess there's still like a couple of minor things to smooth over. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just fix up these like pretty tiny little doodads here and there, just to really smooth it over. Give it a last little bit of sandpapering, Speaking of sandpapering, you guys want to hear I don't know, I'm just gonna tell it anyways. A little story from 3D art class last semester. We had this project where it was taking these lengths of metal pipe, copper pipe specifically. And what you had to do is make a like a sort of square knot shape out of it, so everything's sort of interconnected. Actually, I think I have it in my room, or did I move that to the basement? Oh, shoot, I moved it. Okay. All right, so I don't actually have it on me. But what it was is this little like knot shape of metal copper pipe intersecting each other, and it was something that I had to like solder together and then sanded down afterwards. Problem is, I'm stupid, and I burned my hands like 30 times because I kept like I took a blowtorch, pointed it directly at something for like 10 seconds, like a piece of metal, until it was hot. Like, you know, hot, because that's how you gotta solder stuff. And then I let it cool for like 5 seconds, and then, not thinking, just grabbed the pipe with my bare hand. And I did that multiple times. It is a miracle that I've lived this long. Really need to, maybe figure out how to avoid injuring myself so much. I hurt myself a lot in that class. On my way to it once, I fell off my bicycle and hurt my arm really badly for like 2 weeks. That sucked. What else was there? Oh yeah. We were making like a cube and cutting it out of like, we had to like cut foam pieces to like build a cube. And I was like cutting like this, using my finger to hold down a ruler for a straight edge, and then using like a hobby knife to like slice along it. I stuck my finger out a little too far off the ruler and just directly like stabbed into my finger and cut a portion of it. I didn't, you know, nothing came off, but there was a pretty decent gash in my thumb for a few weeks. Point is, this is why I do digital art, because every time I do physical art, I I hurt myself. Okay, anyways. Logo. I like how this looks quite a bit. That's it. This is just straight up, like, objective improvement. Okay, so took a sec, got my brain back into gear, and we're good to go. So, objective 1 is complete. We've got a logo completed. Okay, so this is the rough part. The next thing I have left to do is to try to figure out how to make that code stuff work. And, I don't know if I wanna. Because it's pretty tedious and frustrating to try to get this invincibility frame thing set up. But I don't really know if there's anything else to do. Let me tell you guys about my conundrum. I really want to keep working on the game full swing, but I kind of can't right now for a couple of reasons. One thing is that there is an outline we have for how the game's going to be structured for plot events and stuff, and that's not finished yet, and it's not going to be finished, because the guy, one of my team members who I'm relying on to help finish that, he's incredibly busy this week, and I can't really do a ton without that outline, because I might just be doing work that is not going to go anywhere. Which kind of sucks, because there's nothing to do there. So I can't really do a ton on fronts of map design. I can't really do any story writing either, because once again we need that outline done first. I just don't have anything to do. Like, I've got a lot of maps and stuff that need refining. Like, all this stuff's gonna be changed, pretty much entirely replaced. But I don't know what it's gonna be replaced with yet. We haven't decided what's gonna take its place. So I don't know. So, long story short, bit of a conundrum, because there's a couple of vital pieces that need doing that just cannot be done for a little bit. Maybe I should take some solace in that, take some joy, and just maybe take a bit of a break, you know, relax a little bit, take it slow, but I don't want to take it slow, I want to keep going. Full force, you know? I got energy, I got stuff I want to do. Huh. Is there anything else I can do? Anything else? Because I want to do work. I want to do stuff. I don't want to sit here twiddling my thumbs. Okay, actually, I do have an idea. I do have something. I guess I could try to figure out some structural stuff, cause here's the thing I've noticed for like Kickstarters, successful Kickstarters, right? Basic thing, but they'll have stretch goals, so things that are cool and fun to access. So I've got a couple ideas for stretch goals. One is for like optional super bosses, so like cool challenge content. You know, that could be really fun. That's one thing, one avenue I can take to explore. And then there's the other avenue of challenge maps, which is an idea I've had to like limit the characters, limit the player to certain abilities, or give them a certain optional difficult objective onto like a custom map. Think of like a VR mission, like from Metal Gear. Something along those lines, where it's a bit of bonus content. You know what? Better idea. I know exactly what we can do. Here, let me, we're gonna study. We're gonna do some research. So I've been talking about how I wanted to do a Kickstarter, right? And I'm gonna look at a couple examples of the most successful ones and take some mental notes. So this one is massively successful, as you can tell. It raised $5 million. So let's see exactly what made this one work so well. But first things first is that it's got a pedigree behind it, which we don't have. We can't rely on the fact, because this was the revival of a certain style of Castlevania game that hadn't seen the light of day in, I think it was like 9 years by the time this was out. And it's by the guy who's like who's well-renowned for this genre. So he's got a pedigree, which we do not have. So let's just take a look at what they got. So they start with the story. Okay, so they just have a little bit talking about what the game is. Yeah, so just sort of tell you what the game is, platforms, which is important. Backstop the option to receive physical retail copies. Okay, well, that's kind of cool. Wii U and Vita. Yeah, okay. Okay, so they had some concept art. All images are concept art, not representative of the final product. So you want to show off a bit of what the game's going to look like. Special backer edition. Okay, so you can get bonuses for backers, which is a good thing to keep in mind. Something you can do after the fact, interesting. Milestones. Okay, so this is the stretch goals. So they did stuff like Wii U, so another platform, Vita on platform, DRM free on GOG, sure. Beta access. Okay, that's not a bad option, like getting access to early builds of the game. Manually add on multiple tiers. Local co-op and online co-op / versus. Special illustrations. More special illustrations. Bonuses, new game plus. Vote for like extra content. Secret boss. Classic mode. Holy cow. Roguelike dungeon mode. Boss revenge. Extra playable characters. Yeesh, there's so much. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. When I'm launching the Kickstarter, I'm gonna be doing like I gotta like clear out a schedule. Like I gotta wait to launch it till I have a week when I can just do nothing but like stream and promote the Kickstarter. Okay, so they have a goal. They have art book. They got playable characters, extra difficulties, voice acting, cheat codes, co-op, bosses, speedrun, boss rush, retro level. Okay, wow, they really unlocked. Holy cow, there's so much of this stuff that got friggin' funded. Now, we're not gonna have to worry about getting $5.5 million, because no way are we ever getting anywhere near that close. Which is good. I don't want $5 million in my pocket. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with that. Well, there's little backer achievements. That's kind of cool. So you can get little bonuses for doing stuff. That's kind of neat. They had a Vine thing? That's crazy. Okay, so backer unlocks. Each inventory you unlock with... Okay. Wow, there's a lot. We're really gonna have to prepare for a Kickstarter, because there's like a ton of credits. Working with YouTubers is a big thing. If we can get some YouTube people on board, that would be huge. That'd be hype. I want to reach out to Nitro Rat, if you guys know him, because he's sort of known for like doing a lot of weird RPG Maker games, and I feel like this would be pretty fitting. It would be befitting of his video library to talk about CoolZone. So that'd be sweet. If you'd play the demo and talk about the Kickstarter, he's definitely one I'm going to reach out to. So get like some character introduction, some story stuff, RPG elements, crafting. So giving you a rundown of a lot of the basic mechanics. Music, that's an important one. Voice acting. Okay, so having like a sample of having samples of a lot of the stuff would be really good. Okay, and then the rewards for each tier. So this is something else we'll have to figure out. Like specific bonuses for people. I don't think we're going to want to try to do too many cool like physical rewards, because that's a whole separate issue of trying to figure out and manufacture. So that's going to be maybe a bit of researching. But $5, thanks. $28, digital copy of the game, because it launched for like, I think it's like 40, so you get a little cheaper for buying it early, which is something we should probably keep in mind. You get a bonus edition with exclusive content. Okay, so you get extra bonuses for 100, extra bonuses, even more 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 bonuses, and then you're in the credits. Oh, you get to write a message in the credits. That's cool. Signed print. Wait, signed a mono print? Yoshitaka Amano? God dang, that's crazy. If you guys don't know, Yoshitaka Amano is like an amazing artist who did like a lot of Final Fantasy stuff. He's so cool. You can even get little bonus rewards, like voice lines. That's kind of funny. Handcrafted glass panel. Turn your pet into an in-game enemy. This is... there are so many things. Holy cow, man. You get to take an adventure with Iga. The heck? Man, this is so much stuff. Yeah, man, I kind of thought that doing a Kickstarter would be like maybe a week of like planning and stuff, but this is probably going to be several concerted weeks of just figuring out what the Kickstarter bonuses are going to be. This is crazy. Okay, well, maybe not the best example. Let's do Shovel Knight, because Shovel Knight's similarly like an indie game with no known reputation. Before this happened. So they had a goal of 75,000. We reached 310,000. Can we pull up another one? This one's probably pretty accurate to what we were trying to do. So let's start with the Shovel Knight one. PayPal site will stay for a while after the Kickstarter campaign. So what we're gonna definitely want to do is offer like a PayPal option for people who don't really care about all this, but just don't want to fund the project. So that'll be an option. Okay, so there's rewards for the tiers. Alright. A lot of updates. Okay, so their stretch goals was music players, achievements, new game plus, playable boss character, Linux and Mac version, another playable gender swap challenge mode, 4-player battle mode, which ended up being a whole separate game built on top. All bosses are playable in battle mode. Playable boss night 3. Okay, so they reached 300,000. So they hit all their goals. Achievements. Okay, so you have to explain all the different things. All the different goals, give them a little more detail. That's good to keep in mind. So you gotta explain some of your influences, what'll make your game cool and fun and epic and sweet and awesome and cool. Shows off some of the bosses and stuff to expect from the game, which is, I think that makes sense. We want to show off what's gonna be in it, because like I said, we're gonna have a demo that's like a playable demo. That's basically what we're working on right now is the demo, but give a little hint as to what you can expect more. Loud. Okay, so probably explain why we need some Kickstarter. Usually is get funding from publisher. Publisher has drawbacks. Okay, I mean that's generally why we want to do this. So the rewards are, you get a little PDF instruction booklet in the game. You get the game for 10, you get extra bonuses here. Okay, so they give you a lot of physical stuff. They give you dirt, design hangouts. You can take part in the design process, that's kind of neat. Your likeness in the game. That's something we could do, because what they did in Shovel Knight for the your likeness in the game thing is that if you paid, if you paid $200 or more, then what you would get is a, like your face would be in this big portrait room. And we could do something like that, where you get like a little caricature of yourself in a portrait room for paying that certain fee. Okay, and then we can, like, you know, tell people that, hey, check out the stream if you want to see how this goes. So this is a much simpler Kickstarter, a lot less chaotic than the Bloodstained one, which is, you know, $5 million, Christ. So this one just gives you the game, gives you a couple cool little physical bonuses, and stretch goals that you want. More things. So that's something that we can really keep in mind. Like, even taking some direct influence from the playable boss characters could be a fun idea. Like, having maybe a bonus campaign where you get to play as the 3 main generals. That could be really fun. Yeah, okay, this is good. Alright, so this one I'm really gonna want to check out. Because this is a little bit more accurate to, I think, scale and recognition. Because this one raised $16,000, I have a $7,000 goal. So, you know, $5 or more, you get a demo, game feedback, and input, 2 HD wallpapers, DRM-free game plus rewards, you get the game plus bonus stuff, cool. Digital art book, we could do that, we could definitely do digital art book. Get a t-shirt, that's kind of cool. Road Warrior tier, fully customized NPC on the dangerous road. That's pretty cool one. Yeah, so we definitely gonna have to limit that one. $300 or more. Mysterious living space with you get to make like a cool creepy house in the game. That's kind of neat. I like that one. You get to be your own crew guy. That's kind of neat. Villager NPC with a custom face, line of dialogue. Sounds kind of cool. Okay. So they had stretch goals. Oh, Jake Kaufman did music for this? I had no idea. That's actually quite interesting. Did he actually do anything? Because it doesn't seem like there was anything in the game that sounded like it. Okay, so it explains what the game is. Okay. So this shows that the game changed quite a bit over time, actually, which is kind of cool. Man, it's got all the different tiers and stuff. It's got some stupid-looking concept art. Okay. So definitely the one I'm going to want to take the most influence from is the Shovel Knight one. Because this is we're not going to get $300,000 off of this, but it is a good idea of showing a nice list of all the goals that we would want to have. Probably going to stick to reward tier stuff more similar to Lisa, where it's, cool bonuses based off of, Why why am I blanking on this? Goal bonuses based that are mostly digital, without too many physical rewards, because that's not likely something that we're gonna have a ton of time to. We'd like probably have to reach out to a separate distributor to get that stuff handled. Man, I'm just thinking though, it's probably good to try to be thinking about this Kickstarter stuff now, even though it's not going to be ready. Like, we're not going to do any of it for a long while. Like, it'd be beneficial to have this stuff in mind, because I'm going to need to, like, have a lawyer for this sort of thing, like an accountant or something, so that I know how to actually handle this money, and I'm not breaking any laws, and, you know, talk to somebody who can make sure that we have a realistic way to achieve our stretch goals, anything we actually promise. Like, that needs to be actually doable, you know? So we can't have any joke goals that are... Well, we can have joke goals, but we have to make joke goals that are actually possible to achieve. Okay, well, that was actually pretty productive. I think that gives us a good idea of some of the stuff that we want to do. Let's even do, like, stretch goal ideas. So we'll do extra super bosses. Challenge map packs. So extra hard battles / speedrun times. Full game speedrun mode. Do like yeah, we could just say challenge maps or speedrun maps, or like maps that have some particularly challenging puzzles or enemies and stuff in them. Playable boss mini campaign. Because there's 3 like generals that the game revolves around, and I think it would be kind of sick to have like a separate campaign that you play through, where you play through all of them as. And that could be like a short, you know, like 3-hour deal, like 1 or 2 areas. But that could be really fun. What would be some good other stretch goals? We just do like t-shirt. Actually, no, that'd be a funding reward. Let's go to, let's say right here as I'll just make a folder for Kickstarter stuff. We're gonna make a folder here. We're gonna call it Stretch Goal Ideas. We'll just call it Kickstarter Brainstorming. Okay, so we got the idea of extra super bosses, challenge maps, full game speedrun, playable boss mini campaign. Let me look back at Shovel Knights and see what some of theirs were to take some suggestion. Okay, yes, we're definitely not going to promise any sort of multiplayer. So we already have kind of the challenge mode. Don't really need to do the physical box, because this is only going to be on PC. Which will certainly limit our outreach quite a bit, because we're only going to get people who are willing to pay for the PC game. Which isn't the worst, but it limits things a little. Let's say, maybe it was like a Jumbus campaign. Super duper hard mode difficulty. So we have like an extra challenge on top of everything. Because I guess we want to balance it a little bit. Because if you're willing to like shell out money for, if you want to fund something, that you probably want to be able to see it pushed to its limits. So I would imagine that you'd rather see things that are challenging rather than less challenging than the base game. So that's like things like super bosses or challenge maps. Whereas the playable boss mini campaign is kind of the only thing I think here that really appeals to everybody. So I might want to stick to those sorts of goals. Whereas super duper hard mode, you know, that's a little bit more limited in terms of who would be interested. Yeah, that's something that I could see being an issue. What would be some other good, like, little Kickstarter goals ideas. Let me think. Let me scratch my chin inquisitively. Shovel Knight has some pretty good like backer goals that are for our purposes mostly like kind of achievable. But I think that this right now is a decent brainstorming list. Like I said, this isn't urgent, but I'm really out of stuff to do on the game directly right now. So we've resorted to just sort of brainstorming about something that's not going to happen for another year or so. Maybe there's some other goals I can think of. Nah, that's good. So I'll just call this challenge maps for the sake of having some stuff to work around. So let me make an example map to give this a bit of a trial run. So we'll call this speed map 1. And it'll make it 50 by 50. So this is something that I can do and just have fun with and make some maps. This might actually be perfect for what I'm trying to do, because since I'm sort of waiting on other people to finish some of their stuff right now, I can just take it easy and do some of these fun challenge maps. So let's say we've got our little entryway right here. And let's fill that in. Oh wait, I gotta make it 3D. Gotta make it pop. Yeah, so we can just take things easy and make some fun speedrun challenge maps. And then some, like, maybe difficult maps on top of that, but we'll see. Okay, so for speed map 1, we're going to want to, escalate these in a reasonable manner. But these are intended to be played after you've already beaten the game. So we can just kind of go bonkers balls to the walls with these. So we'll do a little something like this. Oh, I forgot to update my goal text. Let me fix that real quick. Properties, and we're gonna say bonus maps. There we go. Now now the goal text doesn't lie. I mean, I guess technically wasn't lying, because it is area design, just not quite of the variety that you'd expect. Right. Okay, so we'll just do a little something like this. Something like this, and then that. And then bang, you made it to the goal. Congratulations. And we'll sort of paint bucket everything in. Okay, and then we will go along just the outer edge here to make everything a little 3D-y. Yeah, so I was thinking, I think a lot of things. But I guess I'll talk a little bit about the updates and planning for stream stuff going forwards, because I'm heading back to college pretty soon. And I should still be able to stream twice a week at least. Probably not much more than twice, if I'm being honest. Knowing me and knowing how busy things are going to be, I don't imagine I'll have too much more time than that. But once I'm back, things are probably, unfortunately, going to have to take a slow. I'm going to have to slow things down a bit. Just knowing, time constraints and limitations and everything. Which has been great. I'd like to be able to continue to work full steam ahead. But, that's just how things go. Is there anything else with that sort of thing? No, I mean, I think everything else, game-wise, should be relatively the same once I go back. Yeah, nothing should be too different. It's just more so the date that streams take place and the time that streams take place. Otherwise, it should be pretty much business as usual. So I need to design these maps in a little bit of a different manner, because the benefit of speedrunning stuff is that, well, there's something that's easier about it and something that's harder about it. The easier thing is that when you're working on a speedrun thing, your gameplay can sort of, it doesn't have to be necessarily quite as good. You can sort of relax a little bit when you're designing something for speed, because something doesn't have to be the most interesting to become interesting when you're speedrunning it. Like, heck, Lego games can become more interesting when you speedrun it, so that's, you know, a bit of a frame of reference there. No, that's not to say that you can stop trying, that you can take it easy when you're designing a speedrunning thing, because there's still like a lot of thought that has to go into it. But you get to relax a little bit more. You don't have to worry so much about making sure everything is super fine-tuned and exact. You can chill a little. So I'm gonna grab this guy, and you know what else I'll do? Make a line of these. So we have like we can set up a little starting line. Doesn't really look like much of a starting line, does it? Ah, well. So we'll throw some text up. It's like, are you ready to attempt the speed challenge? You know, I'm thinking about this more. I feel like I really want to keep working, which is why I'm just sort of scrambling to come up with anything. And I'm making something that I don't even know if it's going to be in the game yet, and I'm trying to design something around nothing that I've tested yet, and I'm just sort of putting things willy-nilly down without really thinking about my decisions. Which is probably a sign that I need to step back a little bit, because this is the mode I get into sometimes, where I'm just like so hyper-focused on getting work done that I start wasting my time on something that's not even really worth doing. Which is stupid, but that's just how I get sometimes, so. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that, unfortunately, today's stream is done. I'm gonna stop myself from continuing to just waste time on things that I don't even really know if they matter or not. And we're just gonna call it for now, so. Sorry about the bit of a shorter one, only about 2 hours, as opposed to my usual 3 or so. But I think we still got some stuff done, even if it wasn't too much. I'll still try to fix that invincibility stuff, but I have no idea how to get that working. Oh well, I really want to get back to working on stuff good and proper. So, oh well. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go send a ride on over to my buddy CodeRad. So, yeah. See you guys tomorrow. I'll say... There we go.